Hey, now you can leave. Never stopping unless you ain't my father. What? I'm sorry. Come again? What the fuck? I thought you made it clear you like my sister, jackass. Like, shut up. He died right there in front of me. I have damn nightmares about it, you ass. You can't leave the past. Because it won't leave you and it'll haunt you. Don't bring anything up about Jason again. Hey. Me and Jackson got into it last night. And yeah. Yeah, but I don't care. It wasn't the first time. Very much. I said before, but this ain't crying. Because I did it before. My parents named Mary and Richard. My dad, Richard, was abusive to me. My mom, Mary, would lecture me a lot when I get in trouble at school or fighting with other kids at school. I get into trouble at school or fighting with other kids at school. Oh, wait. I get into fights with Hannah Violet, one of my enemies. And then I get home from school, get a damn ass beating, and lecture about 2 to 4 hours and having no parents to fucking care about you. I started starving myself because I was called a slut, whore, bitch, and a fucking guy user. That's when I dated Jackson. I thought he could change me, but he did. But then apparently he cheated on me with one of my enemies named Bello Jones. He wanted to move on, and I went into a huge depression. Also, my dad beat me a lot. I told Richard would call me a mistake or a piece of shit because I am nothing but a worthless rat. A few years later, Mary and Richard, they died in the suicide in a car crash. I started to live on the streets, and that's where I met Stephen Johns. The next day, we went out training, and he took me to his room, and I made out with him. I found out that he was 22 years old, and I was 15 dating him. Call me crazy, but I didn't know. Anyway, on September 20th, 2011, I wanted to leave his gang. Because I hated being there. In the gang, because he used me for everything. He did some bad things to me while we were dating. I told him I wanted to leave, but he said no, and I got mad. So, what I did was, I hit him in the face, and then I should have ran, but I didn't because he pinned me down and beat me and raped me. Then I went into a huge depression state after that. I cried all night and I slit my wrist even more and more. Then a year later, on my birthday, I hooked up with someone else named Morgan McLean. A black gangster who was my starring role. He laughed in my face and he wanted me to actually feel pain. I saw him drink a lot and I couldn't stand being in a relationship with someone who's drinking, and sooner or later for that person to not be in the right state of mind. So I broke up with Morgan, and he beat the crap out of me and actually threw me to a mirror that night. Then later that night, I went into a depression state, and the next day I was thinking about going out with Stephanie again. It actually gave me the chance. Like, he said yes, and well, we got back together. And then a month passed, and we broke up again, I still had not left, but then when I didn't do his assignments, I was being abused by him again. Then on January 22nd, 2013, I killed him by shooting him, but apparently he's not dead. After I left, I met Jason at a club. We hooked up. Then Stefan and Morgan came back and started shit. I got told the truth by Stefan and got beat for not 1, but 2 hours. I begged him to stop, but no, he didn't. I couldn't stand him, so I left. I thought my life was over, but then I wanted it to stop and end, but Jason kept it up. A few months later, Jason got shot and died in a hospital. I wanted to kill myself, but I couldn't make anything better. But I didn't. And that's when I met you a year later. That's my story. When people tell you they understand, they don't. They have not been through abuse to where you actually want to kill themselves. To make you feel better, you see a blade on your wrist and cut for 4 hours, and then you get into a mental asylum and stupid doctors to make you take medicine to help you gain weight. But no, that's not happening. Then you write a stupid suicide letter about knives and cats. Life is not perfect. Life is suck. Because people don't know what other people went been through. Look at people's backstory, but get called for the cops and be put in the jail for something you did not do. That's why I can't trust people or anyone. I'm guessing you know it. I'm a loner. From middle school into now. When I met you, I don't feel alone.